Hi everyone, this is Nibiru Watcher. It is March 3rd, 2018, and I am on addictivesports.com webcam, and I will leave links to all this. And to show you what I'm going to jump right into, what we are looking at. First, I'm going to show you the object and give you my theory of what it is that we're looking at on two different cameras. Now check this out. Again, this is not Photoshop. This is happening right now. This web camera down here is north of Malcensini, I don't know, on Lake Garda in Italy, facing the west, right here, facing the west. The other camera picking up the same object here at this nearly the same time. I look closely at the timestamp, Saturday the 3rd, 2200 hours and 20 minutes, when it first appeared on this camera and first appeared on this camera. This camera also is facing the west on Lake Garda. Where is that? In northern Italy. Let's look at these positions of these two cameras 4 miles away from each other. In northern Italy facing the west, and lo and behold, 4 miles apart approximately, that we have the CERN Hadron Collider in Geneva in Switzerland. Now the plot gets thicker thickens. Watch this. So these two go over the Swiss Alps for approximately 30 miles roughly. Okay, now I made a few videos about these two objects and what we're looking at. So let's look at the characteristics of these objects. Something on the camera? Well, hardly. It's on two different cameras, so there's something out there. What is it? Now this camera picked it up at the same characteristics, showing the same thing. So it first appears, now it's been off and on. Now it first appears at 22 hours and 40 minutes. That's military time. And then the next frame, you can see it moving here. Lake Garda, we could see that it picks it up at 12:30. The time frames are a little off because it snaps a shot. Again, it disappears. The timing of these cameras are slightly out of sync. They're not taking pictures at the same time. This is not streaming. And we see it 2300 hours, and the next frame it first picks it up, and we can see it disappears. It's exactly midnight. While this camera, we see that at midnight, it gets darker here. It appears, sorry, little technical difficulties here, midnight. And we see it also disappears. You do see that on both cameras, the same characteristics and the same direction. Over in Switzerland, where I suggest that we're seeing this object, is now offline. In case you want to translate this camera is now offline. Funny that they offlined it on the 14th, because the last time I made the video, these were all live. They've offlined all these videos. Many people kept bugging me about this. The main point, there's something in the sky that they're hiding from these cameras. Okay, so maybe it wasn't an eclipse, or was it something they're hiding? What do you think it is? Why are they always chemtrailing the skies? Well, let's keep looking at this pattern going forward. Now I'm going to do something. Let's go into real time on both these cameras. This is happening right now, and I'm asking people, please do me a favor. Check this out. Go get a camera. I'm going to hit the current view on this one. This one's low on the sky. It's still seeing it at 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, let's look at the nature of this object, which is clearly getting bigger, because I had caught this same object on a similar camera right here on April 4th. It is clearly getting bigger. It gets bigger and smaller. Why is that? Well, these planetary objects, it's not just one rogue planet, it is orbiting a Nemesis second star, which orbits our sun in approximate 200-day orbit. It gets closer, it gets farther, and each time it gets a little closer and a little, every time it swings closer. I do not know the time of its appearing. I really think it will be this year, but let's go back in a time lapse backwards and watch this object. It disappears. I have an explanation. It reappears here in perfect sync with what's happening right on top of the other camera. Why do you think that is? And our little visitor here, I believe, is why they offlined the Swiss Alps camera. So now let's stop this time lapse and let's track this thing on the next camera here. You can see here it is 3:10, so it's a little off. They're out of sync. I bet it was 3 o'clock exactly, probably would have picked it up. One's captured every 10 minutes, so the timing is off. Let's do a time lapse and watch a similar object. And again, I will leave links in the description. So take notice of the time frame here. You could do this yourself, but they basically appear and disappear on the same camera at the same time. I have noticed, however, that their appearance is, here it appears, it disappears at 12:30. Very, very, very similar to the other camera, reappearing, fading back to black, having the same characteristics of the other camera, just 4 miles north of it. Look at that. Now, what do I think this is? And why it disappears? Here's my explanation. Now, these are real planets being hidden from us and obfuscated by a ultra-thin lens system, most likely a thin Fresnel lens, which we seem to see in our photographs. These little objects here, I believe, are lenses that pull the focus of the planetary object out of focus. Now, as the planetary object would be where my crosshairs are, would bend the light, focusing on another main lens here, it could go far across the horizon, and then creating what would appear to be a holographic projection. So now I believe we're looking straight at the object. We're looking at it being bent from around the horizon over the Swiss Alps. And as a planet skips from lens to lens to lens, it can suddenly disappear and reappear, although they are fast-moving planets. So I'm going to take you back to this camera here, back in April of April the 4th at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to go backwards in time, and I'm going to show you a few things that not only does this object, I believe, is speeding up, because in this time-lapse animation, and every time we see this object on this camera, we also see it on the northern camera, this one here. So let's go back in time at 6 o'clock and look how long it lingers in the frame, and notice the size of this object. So it first appears, we can see it's turning more red. Again, we're watching a planetary object of the light of the object being bent all the way from across the Swiss Alps, I believe over in Switzerland. And I wouldn't be a bit surprised if the Swiss camera stays down until this thing finally passes. Once in a while we do see this white dot appears, I believe that, or we're seeing the heat signature of this object. This is a hot object. That's why the IRIS telescope, launched in 1983, it captures this thing. This thing is watching its heat signature. Look at this. We're just watching this thing. Now, we see in today's cameras, it comes and goes so fast. and we're lucky to see this thing at all. It basically lingered there all day, and now look at the pattern that we saw. I showed you earlier that it came and went within just a couple of about 30 minutes, a very couple of frames. We can almost what appears to be the plasma tail. Some accuse it being spider legs, but I can promise you that every time you see this, you will see this on the other camera to the north. So again, please, if anybody wants to help me out, I will stream this. Go hook up a camera like one of these. All these infrared lights. This should be able to pick this up, hook this up, and face it to the western sky. Stream it online. Send me the link, and I will stream it and record it on my channel. My email address is jeffp427@yahoo.com, or leave a comment for my email address. If you have got this link camera facing the west, please get one of these cameras and hook this up. You don't have to use the fancy ones that they used. These actually are fairly fancy. You don't have to get them that fancy. They're actually relatively cheap. $200 gets you a really nice one, even $50. They should pick up the IR signature. If you've got one of these at home, you go ahead and put your hand in front of it at nighttime. You'll see that it also appears as white heat. That's what we're looking at. Remember, the planetary object could be far out here and seeing it all the way over here. So this is just a conceptual drawing, but how that bends the light through these light bending lenses. And if you want an explanation for this, you can go back and watch my other videos about the flickering sun, the sun simulator, and all that fun stuff. It can be very confusing. Just go back and watch it. I thought I would spare people that have seen this before. So this picture just came in, 3 o'clock, and I hope you like this video. And if anybody wants to help me out, let's see if we can get some video coverage on the western sky in Switzerland, heck, in northern Italy. That would be awesome. Who knows what we would see. I would love to stream this live. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed day.